Hi, I thought I'd give you a sort of a mini update of what's in bloom in my collection on May 20th, 2020. So I want to start off with this one, which is probably one of the more unusual ones. This is a Coleogeny hybrid, Samoni colored by Usitana. It has a name, I think, Orchid Gardine, from the nursery that it was made. And it has been featured in some videos on the internet, so this is not super rare, but I don't think many people have it here in North America. I think it's a little bit more popular in Europe. So since it hadn't ever bloomed with more than one bud at a time, I had no idea that how the spike should start developing. And so what I thought was a bud, this green thing here, is actually just um, the spike itself. It is not a bud because the buds emerge on the side of it. So yeah, so maybe it really needed a lot more light, and maybe that's why this thing never really made more than one flower at a time. So here it is. It's got sort of like a faint cocoa powder fragrance if you really stick your nose into it. But it is a very nice flower. I think if you have the right shelf for this, I think you can appreciate it. The lip is hairy. It's rough. Yeah. So, and as you can see, there's another bud on the way there. From my experience last year, the flowers only lasted like maybe 10 days. But this is in my setting. Maybe in a greenhouse or a more humidified environment, they might last a bit longer. So there will definitely be 2 flowers, assuming that nothing goes wrong with this. And I don't know if the spike is going to continue onwards and make more flowers. I don't know. I have no idea. But in the meantime, the pseudobulb leaf continues to grow. This one is planted in lava rock and sphagnum moss. And I keep it, moist to wet because this one requires it anyways. In winter, I think I tend to let it dry in between waterings, but now while it's in bloom, I keep it wet. So that's my first orchid gem. I'll give you a close-up of it. So I recently placed an order with Crystal Star, and in one of my orders was this Zygopilum Rain Moonlight, and it arrived with a spike. So they were selling them in spikes. So I was lucky enough to get one, and at the time none of the buds were open. But it wasn't spike, and the buds were fairly advanced, and now they've just opened up. So I just thought I'd make a video of what they look like. So the leaf is fairly velvety. And it's brown, purple, and a slight line of green in it. So it's quite lovely. I like these flowers very much. There you go. And they are fragrant. They're mostly fragrant, I would say, earlier in the day. It's not powerful, like super powerful. You sort of have to approach the plant in order to get a nice fragrance. And it is floral. Kind of hard to describe, but it is floral. And I'm happy with it. The plant's doing really well. I unfortunately broke the leaf this morning, because the leaves are kind of top top heavy, and I'm taping it there. So I'm probably going to put a stick or something to try to stake this thing so that the leaf doesn't get damaged further. The plant arrived in sphagnum moss and seems to be happy this way. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till these flowers finish, and then I'll just simply repot it in something maybe more airy than what it's in. So Zygopilum, rain, moonlight. So the last blooming orchid that I'm going to feature is this compact Vanda type, which is a cross between Vanda cerulea by Holcoglossum kimbellianum. And I got this from Tropical Gardens last fall. And the plant has been going through a roller coaster ride in this place. It arrived bare root, basically, and I had trouble rooting it at first. It was very, very difficult. And but it did grow some roots eventually, and it tried to spike. But if this plant stays dry for any amount of time, it just becomes super limp, and I lost that spike in the fall. So I was very, very sad, and I was very, very angry at this plant. But much to my surprise, it rebloomed again in the springtime, and I actually had 4 buds on this, but my cat chewed the end of the spike, so I only have 2 flowers to show you. So in nature, this is there is a natural hybrid of this called Vanda morii, but I think the flowers can look very different depending on who the pod parent is. And I think in this case it's Vanda cerulea that's the pod parent. And so the flowers, for some strange reason, wind up looking more, I think, like the Holcoglossum flowers, which are white, and I think they have like a pink lip or something, but the shape is kind of similar. So I don't think the flowers are terribly large, but I think they're interesting enough. So the good news is that now that I figured the conditions for this plant, not too bright, not direct sunlight, I think it does well under artificial lighting or a little bit of direct sun, but early in the morning or late in the evenings. I think it's okay with that. And it needs to be soaked maybe once or twice a week. Maybe even 3 times while it's in flower. Otherwise, the leaves become limp. And it really tells you right away when it's unhappy. But it really has a killer lip. I really, really like this. And it seems to have the tessellations of the cerulea, which is kind of nice. Now the scent is bizarre. Yeah, the scent is very bizarre. It smells like, I don't know, a perfumey plastic. It's bizarre. It's pleasant and unpleasant all at the same time. So, yeah. Now, the roots are thick and on this one, but you can see that this one tried to bloom. I mean, these were there when I bought it, but I think it's bloomed on almost every axil. So I get a feeling that this should be an easy bloomer. But, yeah. So I basically just soak it all the way to the top. As you can see, there's a lot of active roots coming around. So that's the plant. So one more look. So Vanda cerulea times Hercoglossum kimbellianum. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed these blooms, and thank you for watching.